Hey, my elevators. This is Elle Beecham, owner, creator, and founder of the Elevate Movement, which is a naturopathic approach to healing and mental health. It has been so long since I created a video, made content, just to put out there for all of my elevators. But I was having a conversation today with my daughter. And I was like, I just asked her a question, about friendship. And I was like, Pooh, what do you think about this? Blah, 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 and all of this. And you will be surprised at what your children retain, what they know, and what they have observed based on a line of questioning that you can ask them. So my question to her was, what do you think if a person tells you, you just want me to be you, or you just want me to, handle situations, like you would or do, or whatever the case may be. And she was like, Mommy, she said, I don't think that, you necessarily want people to be you, but you do have an expectation that you want everybody around you to thrive and to be good and, to be their best selves and to experience like greatness in life and have a plethora of opportunities. Like we were just talking and she said, and I respect that. She said, but the part where it can become dicey is that sometimes, it seems like you have this standard and people have to meet your standard. And when they don't, it becomes a problem for you. And I said, true to a certain degree. And what I realized in that moment is when you start coming to me with the same problem over and over and over again, I'm sick of talking about it, because at the end of the day, I'm a problem solver. I'm a solutions person. I'm a fixer. I fix people problems for a living. So with that, you come to me with a problem, an issue, a situation. Yes, I got some advice. Yes, I have an opinion. Yes, I got a thought. Yes, I got a plan of action. Yes, we can do it right now. It's just, how do you want to execute this? How soon? How fast? What you trying to do? So with that being said, what I took away from the conversation was not only was my baby listening and paying attention to her mother, but also I need to be able to set my boundaries with people around me, especially if they are not a client. Now, the only way that I am going to go back and forth, up and down with you, you got to run me that 250 for them 55 minutes, okay? Come on. However, if we are not doing that, I have to be able to say, okay, we done talked about this at least 5 or 10 times, not 3, 4, 5 years. 3, 4, 5 years and we talking about the same shit and you still in the same situation. Oh, check me out of it. Like, leave me out of the conversation. So what I walked away with was, one, I get antsy and testy with my responses and even persnickety, because I'm like, we should be over this now. But because I'm a fixer in my own life, I expect for other people to be ready to move. And what I have to understand is that people are not. People are not always ready to come up with a plan of action. Sometimes people are addicted to their own demise, their own drama, their own toxicity. So understanding that that's the reality, leave them where they are, baby. She also said, well, Mommy, in this particular situation, y'all were never supposed to be friends anyway, because y'all are just too different. Look at your life, look at theirs, look at their belief system, look at yours, look at, your morals and values, look at theirs, look at the way, they conduct themselves when out, look at the way they dress. It's so many things that should have been an indication to me that the foundational principles of this differ so much that it is going to cause a tryst. So it just blew my mind, for her to have her own understanding of like friendships and the foundational values and principles of what, goes into being friends. And I was just listening to her, because she was like, Mommy, you're not a mean person. And, you want good for everybody and you believe, everybody. But she was like, now they got to make some moves, though. They got to be ready to get with it because that's the kind of person that you are. They have to be ready to take action because that's the kind of person that you are. They have to be ready to, at least hear what you have to say because they opened up the door. You're definitely going to walk through it. For one, you're a friend. For two, this is what you do. And for three, like, who wants to see someone suffering or hurt, right, that they care about? So if you have like differences of opinion in friendship, that's one thing. But when the value system and the core of who you guys are just don't align, then you really get to see who the person is when the rubber meets the road. So if you got a friend, that's telling you that they are jealous or they're vindictive, and sometimes they can be a mean girl and all of that, like, that's just not who I am at my core. So at my core, who you are, having those things, it impacts how you show up in life. It impacts how you deal with people. It impacts your relationships with everyone. And you want somebody to feel like you good at the core? You want somebody to feel like, you okay? And you wise enough to be able to put that stuff aside and still show up as this nice and sweet person? Like, no, we have to learn to be honest. And my daughter also said, friendships, the foundation of friendships will start to dismantle when people are not honest. And at the core of this particular friendship that I'm talking about, we started out with what appeared to be core values, right? Like, we wanting the same things out of life, believing the same things, maybe not going about it the same way, but believing, that eventually we get to the end of this. However you get there is how you get there, but we are going to get to the end of this. So to see that 5 years later or whatever, we're still talking about the same thing. We're still complaining about the same things. But now you've lost some friends in the process. You've done some switcheroo. You've done, some things differently, and things are starting to shift in your life. And you never reflect back to say, dang, maybe it's me. Maybe I need to look at what I'm doing, what I'm saying, what I'm putting out into the atmosphere. How are people experiencing me? What do I give off, as to why people don't want to deal with me? Yeah, we gotta be able to take a look. We gotta be able to look in the mirror to say, what am I doing? This one thing I can't stand. We can have problems and issues. You can blame me, but if I never hear you say, let me take a step back and look at me. Let me take a step back so that I can see, like, how did that person experience me? Is there any validity in what they are saying? Is there any truth to what they are saying? Can I apologize just on the strength that I hurt their feelings? Is there anything I can do? So listen, friendships just have a way of showing you who you are. Friendships have a way, any relationship for that matter, has a way of creating boundaries for you or showing you the areas in which you need to, place some boundaries. So for me, like, this conversation was very good that I had with my daughter, but it also shed some light on a friendship. So take a step back, when you're going through things in relationships and friendships, just to see, like, is it anything I can do differently? Can I move differently? Can I approach something differently? Can my tone be different? Can I apologize? Is this friendship worth it? Do I value this? Am I gaining anything from this? And just go through the motions of questioning. And it will help you to derive at a final destination of whether or not, you continue to talk, and maintain that friendship, or if the ship has sailed and you wish them the very best. Like, there is no hard feelings when adults end relationships. It shouldn't be. When adults end relationships, we should be wishing each other well. We should be saying, man, I want the best for you, dog. Like, I don't want you, in a pickle or a debacle, or, in messed up situations or crazy friendships. Like, I want you to be in beneficial friendships, intentional friendships where they feel good, where they're nurturing, where they are loving. Like, I want this for you. And when you jealous and vindictive, you can't want that for me. You cannot want that for me because you don't even want it for yourself. So until my next video, elevators, this is Elle Beecham, and I'm out, the owner, creator, and founder of the Elevate Movement, which is a naturopathic approach to healing and mental health. It's Friday. Have a good weekend.